Welcome to ETM 240 with Paul, Kris, and Nick. This is our practical test 2. We were given a boolean equation and we were asked to solve it and then create a circuit diagram for it and also show how we solved it. And so we got A, B, not C, and D, or not A, B, not C, and D, or A, B, C, and D. And so to break that down, we factored the BD out of it with the distribution theorem. And so we got BD and then A not C, or not A not C, or AC. And then you can use the Boolean theorem, which is A or a not A equals a 1. So that actually cuts that A and that A out, making it a 1. So then you just have B and D going in, and not C or AC, and then you can use the Boolean theorem again on that normal C and the not C, and that gives you this partial simplified Boolean equation, which is B and D and not C or A, which breaks down to B not C D or A B D. And you do that with the distribution as well, just factoring that back into both of them. Now we also had to create a circuit diagram for this, and so we used push button valves to replicate each letter A, B, C, and D. And so you have the normal A is going to be normally not passing, so you have to press that, and then you have that ORed in with the B and D, which are both also not passing, normally not passing. So those have to be pressed in order to let it go. So you have your A and your B and your D, and that will send a pilot signal out to X, which will turn on the control power, causing the cylinder to retract. Now if you press C, C is normally passing, so in our equation it was a not C. And so you could be holding all those and press it and it'll still stay retracted. But if you press just B and D, it'll retract, and if you press C, it'll extend again, because that's going to cut off your pilot air supply to the rest of the circuit. You can kind of see that here. If you pressed A, B, and D, it would let the signal go all the way through to the pilot. If you just press B and D and not C, it would also let it go through, but as soon as you press C, that's going to open up and cut the pilot off, causing it to retract. Kris and Nick are going to show you the truth table and the function of our circuit here.
Alright.
So
our first line of our truth table is going to read as B and D will give us an output. So press D, B. Our cylinder retracts, we got our output. And our next one we could read as A has to be high, B has to be high, and D has to be high to get an output. Our cylinder retracts, we got our output. And our very last one reads, if they're all pressed, we'll still have an output. B.
So even with the not C pressed, it still stays retract. But if you let go of A and it's just B, D, and C, you won't get a 1 on the output. And you can actually see that on the truth table there. So the instructor also gave us a bug in our circuit after we built it. Now our problem was that the cylinder was retracting really slowly. So whenever you got the input 1 and it was coming back out extremely slow. And so where the area of problem was it had to do something with the venting, because there was some kind of back pressure causing it to slow down when it shouldn't have. And so you could check the vents, the connection lines, and we kind of double checked our circuit diagram to make sure we were going in the right spots. And what it actually ended up being was that all of the inputs were in the outputs. So where you're coming in right here, we actually had that line there and this line here, so it actually wasn't venting properly through there when you actually made the circuit. And we had that on every single one of the valves, including the power valve. The pilot line, the pressure line, was actually coming in back over here and the extension and retraction lines were coming off these two, so those had to be flipped around and corrected as well to fit the actual diagram of the valve, the way it works.